Ipswich Borough consists of 16 wards. 13 of those wards comprise the parliamentary constituency of Ipswich. 3 of those wards are part of the central Suffolk and North West Ipswich constituency, which does what it says on the tin, and consists of a huge swathe of some of the most rural and prosperous parts of Suffolk, plus 2 council estates and some other dense housing in North West Ipswich. Every time a resident of Ipswich contacts my office, my staff have to ask for their address in order to determine whether they are one of my constituents or a constituent of Dr. Dan Poulter. Many residents of North West Ipswich assume that they are represented by the MP for Ipswich and can become quite irritated when they discover that they have to approach someone else. And Dr. Poulter is, I am sure, becoming a little weary of my constant messages to his office informing him of my intention to attend events which involve Ipswich-wide groups or campaigns, but which happen to be taking place in his constituency. Though we do try to work together for the good of Ipswich wherever appropriate. Of course, if the Boundary Commission changes go through before the next election, 1 ward's worth of Dr. Poulter's constituents will not be allowed to vote on whether he's done a good job for them or not, because they will be transferred into my constituency. But at the same time, it will be wrong for me to attempt to show the residents of that ward whether or not I'm an effective MP until after the general election at which they can vote for me, or not. I'm lucky, Sir Roger, in that I only have 1 borough council with which I have to deal, and that borough council only has 2 MPs with which it has to deal. Just down the road in Essex, we have constituencies whose boundaries bear virtually no relationship to any recognisable geographical entities. Colchester, for instance, has suburbs such as Wivenhoe in the Harwich constituency and Stanway in the Witham constituency. Across the country, MPs have to deal with 1 council for 1 part of their constituency and another council for another part. And this has a seriously damaging effect on the level of democratic engagement. We have a supposedly geographic system of representation. MPs are elected to represent geographic constituencies. But how can we use the importance of the geographic link between the MP and their residents as an argument for keeping the present first-past-the-post system when half the residents in this country don't know which constituency they live in? And if and when they do learn which constituency they live in and find out who their MP is and develop some sort of relationship with their MP, the Boundary Commission is quite likely to come along and ship them over into some other constituency, so they can't vote for that MP anyway. Sir Roger, we're not here today to propose a specific alternative electoral system, but rather to debate whether there might be any merit in looking at any alternatives. It's entirely possible to devise a system of geographic representation which enables meaningful and fixed constituencies of varying sizes, coupled with a proportional top-up to ensure that the overall result is fair. And it is not necessary that that top-up should be done with a list system. I was never a great fan of the system proposed at the last referendum on the voting system, and I do not propose that we revisit that system. And I have to say, my perception of the AV referendum was that it was a referendum on the popularity of Nick Clegg. And the vast majority of people had no idea how the system they were voting for or against was supposed to work. And I have to say that any honourable members in this place who believe that it was a proportional system are amongst them. But surely this debate is whether the current system is fit for purpose. And I suggest that given that we are electing people to represent geographic entities that mean nothing to the voters and change their boundaries on a regular basis, it's about time we looked at something more meaningful which would actually accord with the expectations of our voters.